So one of the things that you've probably noticed is that we have things called irregular verbs. And today what we're going to look at are irregular verbs in the present or the present indicative verb tense. Now just for a quick refresher, I have placed up the endings for the AR, the ER, and the IR verbs in the present tense, but we're not going to look at those today. We are only going to look at some of our irregular verbs because in Spanish, in our present tense, we have a lot of them. Today we're just going to look at a few. So there are some super common ones that are irregular, meaning they don't follow the pattern, but they're only irregular in the yo form. So dar, doy, hacer, poner, salir, traer, and ver. The rest of these forms, they follow the pattern. You take off your AR, you take off your ER, etc., 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 and you add your appropriate ending. But for these verbs, and there are more of them, but for today, this is what I want you to work on, are these right here. These are irregular in the yo form. Is there a way to memorize them? Well, yeah, flashcards. Can you just say, oh, just look at a verb and, oh, that's got to be irregular? No, there's no way. If it were that easy, we'd never make mistakes in Spanish, so you're just going to have to go and memorize. A couple others that we want to be careful with is when we have verbs that end in G-U-I-R in Spanish, so like distinguir, to distinguish, that G-U changes to just a G in the yo form. Now the rest of it, that's fine, but here's the only thing we need to look at. So normally we would take off our IR, right? So if we were to say L, and then add our ending, distingue. But in the yo form, that GU is going to change to a G, so we would have, and we have the GU, but it changes just to a G, and then we would add our O, distingo. So with verbs that end in G-U-I-R, that GU changes to the G. But again, only in the yo form. One other category that I want to look at today are verbs that end in a vowel plus CIR or CER. So vowel CIR, vowel CER, vowel CIR. And in the yo form again, it's kind of nice. We're only dealing with the yo form. These change to ZCO. So that CIR changes to a ZCO. The rest of them, they're normal. We're only talking about the yo form. Ofrecer, that CER changes to a ZCO. Conducir, CIR, changes to a ZCO. So the present tense, we have some irregular verbs. Actually, we have a lot of them. There's some that I didn't even put on here, like, do you remember ser? Well, that one's irregular, but that one's irregular the whole way through. At least the ones that I've shown you today are only irregular in the yo form. Okay, make some flashcards, memorize them, start practicing them. Go out, talk to some people. Let me know how it goes. Suerte.